So I thought, okay, I just want to put the joint. So what up? Big Nique TV, gang, gang, and I'm back with another live video, a live reading. We almost finished that book. We almost finished this good old book, Rough Men. Okay. Almost finished, y'all. And if you want to read this on your own too, then I think you can find the book online. Probably either go to your local library and find it, or or you could probably go to see if Amazon got it if you want to get it ordered to you. So if you go, so so you ain't gotta return it back, to the library, if the library got it. If you don't want to do all that, then you can try to find it on yeah. You could try to find this book on Amazon on one of them websites, you know what I'm saying? And let's get into it. Y'all, can you see where the paper is folded at? We almost finished. It's a lot of pages left, but it ain't a lot of pages left. This how much we got to finish. We get in there, y'all. We get in there. So, like I said, I'm starting on the page where, where I said I was gonna start it from the last live on that page here. And let's get into this shit, y'all. Alright. So let's get alright. Oh yeah. And if you ain't seen the other few live videos that I did on this book, from these pages, go check out them videos, okay? So you can get caught up, so you know what's going on in the story and everything, okay? So yeah, y'all. And if you new, make sure you subscribe. Comment some motivational stuff. I love motivational comments. I'ma like it. 9 times out of 10, I'ma respond to you. As long as they motivational or just appropriate, period. Okay? Alright, y'all. So let's get into this book. Alright, y'all. Okay. The house must have been filled with bangers, and they filed into the living room quickly. The men wore hoods and bandanas across their faces. The most minimally armed of them had pistols. The rest had AK-47 or AR-15 semi-automatic. Oh my god. Semi-automatic rifles. Between the hoods and bandanas, their tattoos were visible. Jason dropped his gun and Isaac follows suit. Will was last, slowly laying the cig on the floor and then placing the revolver that Chris had given to Jason next to it. Two of Okay, hold up. Two of the men came over and collected their pistols, and a third began to frisk them. He took, yeah, he took a small automatic from, he took a small automatic from Jason's right ankle and a revolver from his lower back. Will could feel the man grinding at them. I mean, I say grinding. Will could feel the man grinning at them through his bandana. Tattoos savaged into the skin above his eyes, while another took their phones and everything else that was in their pockets. You got something for my friend, said one of the men in the group. He was holding one of the short burled AR-15s and clearly talking to Chris. Yeah, said Chris. It's upstairs. You want me to go get it? See, the man barked. Yeah, the man barked something else in Spanish, and two of the other men and two of the other men walked with Chris. The three of them left the room. Will could hear their feet as they went up the stairs. No one said anything while Chris was gone. Will, Jason, and Isaac just stared at the feet of the men who who were now in control of the situation. No noise on the stairs again snapped Will's head back up, and Chris and the other two men came what sorting down into the room. I mean, sorting back into the room. Sorry, y'all. Chris had a backpack slugging over one shoulder, and the other swagger. I mean, and the I said other. I mean, Chris had a backpack slung over the shoulder. Over one shoulder, and the swagger had that turned to fear was back. Hold up, y'all. Hold up. Chris had. Hold up. I'm gonna hold y'all while I'm reading this. Okay. Chris had lucked out. He was winning. It made Will sick, not because he was probably going to die soon, but that he'd had hope, but that he'd had the chance thousands of times really to kill Chris and just walk away. He hadn't though. He'd been so sure that he needed to get to the bottom of everything, but there was no bottom. A man with lots of power was going to see to their ends. Will would never get to see Allison again, never get to enjoy the life that he had left and had always taken for granted. As they were walk oh, I mean, yeah. Yeah, I was right. As they were walked out of the house into a pair of waiting black vans, Will wanted to run so they'd be forced to shoot him in the streets. Getting into the van, he wasn't sure what was worse, not having the balls to run or that they weren't even bothering to cover their heads with hoods. Like Chris had said they done to him, Will Will sat with a banger on I mean, yeah, Will sat with a banger side on either side. I mean, yeah, on either side of him. Almost read the wrong sentence, y'all. That's why I had to make sure I was right. Alright. Behind him, Isaac was similarly surrounded, and in the row in front of him, Will could see that Jason was was as well. When Chris got into the van and sat 2 rows in front of him, Will could hear him cracking jokes to himself. The idiot not yet realizing that no hood for him is hold up. The idiot was yet realizing that was not I mean hold up, what? The idiot not yet realizing that no hood for him this time meant that the real joke was on him too. Lightning flashed again, and the wind buffet buff what buffet the still stationary van, making it boldly right to left as the thunder crashed again. As as the thunder crashed around them. What an odd night for a thunderstorm. Will thought. Okay. Oh yeah. Will thought storms in late February or early March weren't impossible, but they were not a common thing, not by a long shot. Hail came with the rain, pitter pitter pattering off of the van like shot rolling down a tin a tin roof. No one else in the vehicle seemed to notice, so Will tried to ignore it as well. Still, it was odd. A near blizzard 2 days ago, a thunderstorm this late in winter, and now P pea-sized hail, maybe hold up, yeah, and now pea-sized hail, maybe even bigger than that. It was a fitting in to the night, a winter Maelstrom, still deciding what type of storm it wanted to be. Hold up. Still deciding what type of storm it wanted to be: snow or thunder, ice or lightning. Okay, next part. The driver were, I mean, the the driver of their van was cursing in Spanish. Will couldn't understand the words, but he was clearly not very happy. The weather had not gotten any better since they left the south side. The southwest. The southwest side. The rain and hail mixed with occasional what mixed with occasional blasts of snow. A a weatherman would have called it what wintry mix. Cold and warm cold and warm fronts clashing to create um conditions that could be what politely described as difficult difficult to drive in. One of the men next to Will was ignoring it, playing a game on his phone, but the other, a boy younger than Alex, yeah, a boy younger than Alex at the time of his death, looking terrified. Will Will didn't blame him. The van was rocking so much that Will felt as though he were on his ship. The windows around them were were fooled by weather. The rain made the snow stick to the van, and then more rain would glaze it into a thick crust. Only only the front windshield remained clean, and that was only because the wipers were working at a what free frenetic pace. Will couldn't see the speed. Hold up. Will couldn't see the speedometer. Speedometer. I don't know. Wow. Hold up. Will couldn't see the speedometer. Wow. Well enough to read it where where he sat. From where he sat. Sorry, y'all. I'm all fucking up. Oh, yeah, from where he sat, but he would have guessed their speed at no more than 30 miles per hour. They there were almost no other cars on the road for them to have to worry about. But Will thought he understood the fear in some of the men and in the eyes of the driver. Hold up, my nose itch. The package Chris had secured obviously had some sort of significance beyond what some random little trinket in a bag could have supplied. The crew of gangbangers that hold up. Yeah, I just got finished eating chips and I keep feeling like I'm about to burp. But anyway. Okay. The crew of gangbangers that had met that had met them at the house hadn't been sent to stop them. They were still a wild card. The show of force was a coincidence, likely intended for the intimidation of probably probable deaths of Mumbo and Rob. The gang, yeah, the gangsters were likely as shocked to see them at shocked to see them back at the house as they were as they had been to see the gangsters there, and especially strong guests of when strong gusts. I'm sorry. I need my glasses, y'all. I don't got no glasses. I need my glasses. I was to wear glasses while I'm reading and doing screen stuff, but can't do my glasses, y'all. Okay, and oh, and especially strong gusts of wind threatened to spill the van, but the vehicle right righted righted itself. The driver spitting a song of foreign but obscenities. I don't know. As the bulk as the bulky vehicle regained its footing. They're going to take us to wherever to wherever oh, sorry y'all. They're going to take us to wherever they took Chris, to a place with bloody chairs and grinning men who smelled like death. Thought Will, where could that be? Had they been headed had they been headed south on 131, the highway that splices through the middle of Grand Rapids? He would have assumed they were heading to a farm or slaughterhouse, since it would have been faster to take Ivan Rest the to the northwest side, especially in this weather. Will decided they were being brought north of Alpen. There were a number of nondescriptive nondescript descript yeah descript nondescript warehouses out there. The Grand Rapids Press had one of its own amongst the anonymous guests. Oh, anonymous guests. It would be a perfect place outside the city, but close enough to be there in 10 minutes if need be. Passing through the miserable I mean sorry, I skipped on my bad, y'all. Cause I'm getting tired now. I did my exercising and shit. had a good day. I had a good morning. Pretty much, I had a good day, and it's currently 1:58. I got up like super early. Yeah, I'm like very tired, y'all. You probably can tell in my eyes, cause I'm not high. I didn't smoke nothing. I'm just tired. But all right. And I accidentally skipped the line, so let me go back. Where was I? Okay, it would be. Hold up. Yeah, it would be a perfect place outside the city, but close enough to be there in 10 minutes if need be. Passing through the lights, adoring the tall buildings of Grand Rapid with rapids. Grand Rapids. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay, Will felt miserable that this was the last time he was going to see them. How long would Alice wait to remarry? Hopefully, not long. She deserved to be happy. Would his death be anonymous, or would they let his body be found? Will assumed the farmer, I mean, say former. Will assume the former was far more likely. Why give the police anything to work with? There was nothing holding back his tears and sorry y'all. I'm dozing off y'all. Get through like some of the most like half of the pages that we got left. Okay. So I'm tired y'all. Will okay. I already read that. Okay. She deserved to be happy. Would his death be anonymous, or would they let his body be found? We'll assume the former was far more likely. Why give the police anything to work with? There was nothing holding back his tears and his fear beyond a dig what beyond a what the dignity did dignity dignity. Oh, I was about to say some other shit, y'all. Okay, there was nothing holding back his tears and his fear beyond a dignity he was only now discovering in himself, a determination to die with dignity, at least as much dignity as he was capable of if the MS-13 leader decided that he needed to die with he needed to die a bad death. The wind was really howling now that they left the city, moving their van back and forth. Will could no longer see the tail lights of the other van traveling in front of them. Their driver was doing a pretty good job considering they considering they passed by Alpen. I want to say that's right. Alpen. Let me show y'all. Where is it? The Alpine. I guess that's Alpen. I don't know, y'all. Where's it? Okay. It's normally bright retail lights, nearly smothered by the weather. The parking lots that Will could see empty, and the almost always clogged traffic non non-existent. The weather was the weather was the weather was some of the worst Will had ever seen, but as they passed the first exit ramp past Alpen, it however, I mean, I said however, that's because I looked at how before actually looking at the whole word. Okay, it somehow got worse. Yeah, it somehow got worse. The younger, the nervous man sitting next to window. Will could barely make out what looked like a giant tearing tearing off the top of a warehouse, just as a regular man would tear the top of a tin of sardines. Yeah, I don't like sardines. And that just made me think about my grandfather. He used to fucking stay eating sardines and and just because me and him was so close, and I'd be just sitting there next to him while he eating this shit, and it used to stink. So I was like, he was not eating no fucking sardines, and would he would open up the can, right? He'll open up the can of sardines. He'll eat one, and then he'll try to get me to eat one. And I'm like, here, take this, trying to fucking feed it to me. I'm like, I'm not eating it, smelly shit. I don't cuss at him, but like, I don't, that's how I was in my head. But I'm like, I'm not eating that. Why? I'm not eating that, grandma. No, like it is nasty and it's smelly, and like I was like very picky with texture, smell, everything, y'all. So like, I kind of still am. But yeah, that just the sardines word just had me think about. Just had me think about my grandpa, and I miss him so much. Rest in peace to him. Oh my god. Just some good memories I'm talking about. All right, y'all. Let me continue. All right. Where was that? Okay, sardines. Okay, the sound it made was horrible and otherworldly. What street? Otherworldly screech. The van The van swerved. Will assumed to avoid something, and then Jason was smashing the bandana over over face of the man next to him with an elbow, and shooting the man's carry piece into the front of the van. The Yeah, the noise from the gun was louder than anything Will had ever heard, and the men around him were covering their ears and shouting rather than attacking Jason at that moment, as Jason was finding a way to free them, or at least free himself. The world went upside down. The same hand of God that had been tearing the top. Hold up. Yeah, the same hand of God that had been tearing the top of the building seemed to lift them. Yeah, seemed to lift them as well, but I mean, lift them as well. And then the van was airborne and spinning. Oh, y'all, I'm tired. Trying to get through this, y'all. I'm real tired, y'all. I'm trying not to fall asleep. Y'all, it's fucking lie. I'm trying not to fall asleep on this live, y'all. You see how low my eyes are? I'm like very tired, y'all. It was like, I woke up at like 4 something in the morning when my mother was about to get ready for work, and now it's like I've been up doing shit and whatever the case, and I'm tired. And I'm a busy woman. I'm a business woman. Well, look. I, is this considered entrepreneur? I don't know. I'm an entertainer, entrepreneur, whatever you want to call it. But yeah. So it's like I'm just like I'm tired, y'all. But anyway, okay. Will awoke confused, and then the fear came back to him. We crashed. He began trying to move as his eyes adjusted to the darkness and to the pile of unconscious and possibly dead men around him. As worried as he was about his brother, his priority was to make sure he was going to be with, was going to be in a safe enough position to try to help Isaac and help himself. Will's body felt made made of ashes. He heard a voice begin swearing in Spanish, and then that voice was extinguished as another voice said, choke on choke on that motherfucker. Jason Jason thought Will trying to pull enough air into his lungs to call for what he was starting to think of as his old friend. Will's eyes continued uh what orienting, I don't know, themselves to the darkness as well as to the odd shapes he that the ruined van and even more ruined bodies were taking on. The gang members were everywhere. The scared the scared kid who'd been sitting next to him had his brains leaking out of his ears and his nose. What the fuck? Already having a rather uh deplorable day, Will had no problem with rotting. I mean, I said rot. Rooting around for the kid's pistol, finding it tucked into the waist of his pants and taking it for himself. He slowly racked it to check the chamber. The gun was a Glock and had not been taken care of properly. He would have to work. I mean, it would. Sorry, I said he. I mean, it would have it would have to work. Right, I was right. Will began to slide pistol first to the back of the van, which he now finally realized lay upside down. This helping this hold up this helping this helped him make some sense of the scene. The seat he had been in was fine above him, and but the roof over it, now the floor under Will's knees, had been crumpled crumpled like an what an like an oak art oak like a ec- ecodon accordion. I don't know. Making the trip to attempt to find Isaac into a series of valleys and hills. One of the MS-13 members groaned when Will placed his hands on him, and Will responded by hitting the man in oh yeah, I was about to read the wrong sentences. Okay, Will responded by hitting the man in the throat with the butt of the pistol until he couldn't until he stopped complaining. The wind was blowing snow into the distressed van, and Will could hear Jason dealing with another one of the bangers in his own way, but he didn't care. He could see Isaac's shirt, and the shirt was covered in blood next to Isaac, or at least what Will could see of him. One of the bangers one of the bangers was starting to steer. Will Will soar or not increased increased his pace. The pistol in the pistol in front of him, behind him, Will could hear a struggle that that and and hearing Jason say son of a bitch awake something in him. Will turn the pistol the pistol coming up naturally somehow and shot the banger, holding Jason in the head, dropping him. Will had only fired a Glock a couple of times, and the weird part was how quiet the gun was. Almost No sound in the van. My ears, Will thought, as he raced while I mean as he raced. Will uh crawled back to Isaac. Yeah, back to Isaac and his bloody shirt. Isaac was underneath one banger plus half of another. Will could feel, if not hear, another gun go off near what had been the cap of the yeah. I mean, what had been the what had been the cab of the van, but chose to ignore it. He shoved the song the song in half the song in half M MS-13 member off of his brother's prawn 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 body, and was happy to see that Isaac was still intact, at least from the waist down. Someone behind Will uh, uh someone behind Will in the front of the van began to scream, I mean began to scream, then stopped as a sputter of hell attacked the ruined van. When the hail passed, the scream had become a gargling noise. Will dragged the other man, covering his brother from off of Isaac, then began scrabbling at his brother's waist to try to feel for a pulse. Isaac was alive. Twin bubbles of snot. I'm not playing. Twin bubbles of snot and spit were inflating and then deflating under his nostrils. And Will was sure he could hear him moaning. The sound of thumping came from the front of the van, and craning his neck, Will could see Jason beating another one of the gangbangers to death with the butt of a pistol. Get your fucking brother, Will. Jason was screaming at him, and Will, terrified that he was going to somehow damage Isaac further, began to crawl over the dying and dead well while dragging Isaac by his feet. His brother wasn't stirring, which Will took as a bad sign, but tried to just ignore it. Something grabbed at his leg, and Will jumped, almost screamed. It's just me, said Jason. Hold on tight. The tugging on his leg grew stronger, first first Will and then Isaac were out of the van and onto the highway. The wind was insane, but relief flooded Will. They were alive. He looked for the other van, but other than some tracks leading off the highway, it was it was gone. He gave Isaac a glance, knowing that a day of healing, hauling his older brother around was just, hold up, yeah, it was just beginning, and then turned to Jason. Jason was bleeding from a cut over his right eye, but met met Will's glance with a grin. He was holding a AK-47 that he must have taken from one of the dead bankers, and tossed the short barreled AR-15 to Will, a semi-auto with some sort of sight on top. Will what Will fit, fiddled I guess fiddled with the sight for a moment. Then, after pushing a button on the back of it, a small red dot surrounded by a red circle was visible, projected onto a square square piece of glass. Will took the safety off and lowered it. Jason was moving Isaac to a seating position, then picked him up over his shoulder. We need to find your brother some shelter. Don't you think we should just get out of here? Look over there, said Jason, pointing to the shoulder of the road. If there had been footsteps, they were eased by the wind, but a distant distinct blood trail, likely only minutes old, was headed north. Chris isn't in the van, said Jason, and nearly was his backpack, from what I remember and counted. There's at least one of these fuckers missing. As well. Maybe two of them. I smell gas. Let's go. Jason began moving down the highway. Isaac slung over his shoulder the small AK in his free hand. Will was the rear guard, wondering to himself if anything could kill or even scare Jason. The blood trail went up the next. Yes, hold on, y'all. Ooh, Jesus. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Okay, the blood trail went up the next exit ramp. And they followed it through the wind, ice, rain, and snow, the storm becoming as much as I mean, a adversary, adversary. I don't know. As the room full of armed and angry gangbangers had been. If Jason was having trouble with Isaac, he wasn't showing it, or at least wasn't mentioning it. The blood trail was visible off the ramp and headed down on a street called Fruit Trick. What? Fruit Trick? I don't know. Just off just off the exit ramp and headed down on. I'm about to read that sentence again. Just off the exit. Just off the exit ramp, Will could see a gas station. Its sign and pumps destroyed destroyed by the storm as it became visible through the maelstrom. Jason led them to the gas station. A battered Sonico, a battered Sonico that had not only lost its pumps and sign, but also its windows and electricity. Um, Setting Isaac down next to the door, Jason fiddled. I'm laughing at myself because my fucking faces. But Jason fiddled with the lock through the shattered glass and then opened it. Will grabbed his brother's shoulders, attempted to pick him up, and settled on dragging him into the gas station. He had no idea how Jason had carried him down the highway and up the ramp, stopping once they were inside. Oh, yeah. Stopping once they were inside the station, he found Jason across the room looking around. Over there, he said, pointing into a wooden door that looked like it still had some integrity left. My stomach doing stuff, y'all. I hope y'all don't hear it. Funny as shit. Only ate chips, y'all. My stomach doing stuff. Okay. Jason opened the door to the windowless manager's office, and Will dragged Isaac inside, leaning him against a desk. Jason took a coat hanging off the back of the door and wrapped it around Isaac. Do you think he'll be okay in here? Will asks. He's totally out of it. Well, said Jason. If the pumps were going to blow, they'd already be tits up. Looks like somebody had the good sense to hit the cutoff on the gas before they got the hell out of here. Hey, Yeah, hey, small miracles. I mean, just just leaving him though. Will he be all right? I don't know, and neither do you. I do know that neither of us have a cell phone and that even if we did, there would be no fucking reception out out here in this storm. Jason picked up a weird phone receiver from the desk, held it to his ear for a second and placed it and replaced it. I mean, landlines are down too. So either we sit here or hold your brother's hand while we wait for morning, or we go after this asshole. To be entirely honest, I'm going either way. Those fucks were going to kill me, and that's not something that sits easy. All right, I'm into. I'm going to get some water and food to put by him in case he wakes up. Will you find something in here to write on and leave him a note? You want me to put on some lipstick? you what you want me to put on some lipstick and kiss the note too? Funny as shit. No, I think the note and supplies will be enough. Will Grant, despite himself, I'll be back. I'll be right back, and I'm serious about the note. Will walked into the store part of the gas station, grabbed 2 bottles of water from a cooler with blown out gas. With blown out glass doors. Then also grabbed a can of Pringles and a couple packs of beef jerky. When he came back into the office, he found Isaac lying on the floor with a note on his chest that said, "Back soon, stay here." Will set the food and water next to his brother, then stood watching as Jason half wrecked the bolt the bolt on the AR. They they're I mean yeah, they're both loaded, Jason said, but we don't have any spare magazines. So if you have to shoot at someone, make sure it's worth doing. You see you see this? He pointed for he pointed for and shaft. I mean, where the fuck I get shaft from? Okay, he pointed fore and aft on the small carbon. If that cute little dot sight gets fucked up, hit the buttons on the sides of those, and you'll be back in the game, assuming you're worth a shit with iron sights. I'm not, Will said Jason. Better than nothing. Are you ready? Yeah, I guess so. Then let's hope that fucking then let's hope that fucking asshole is still bleeding. Will gave his brother one last look as they left the office. The expression on his face stayed with him as they left the comfort um relative as they left the relative comfort of the gas station and to the returned to the storm. Isaac looked as though he were having a lovely dream. The savagery of the weather was on them before they were even out of the gas station, and grew worse than further they drew away from it. Jason ran, and Will kept up as best he was able, the blood trail coming and going in the same spurts in which he had left its its injury its injured former owner. Will found himself following Jason and ignoring the rapidly disappearing trail, stealing glances to the side of the road to see if perhaps whoever had left it had ventured from the streets to find refuge, whether as rather as their intended oh whether at their intended destination or just one of convenience of it. Some of the buildings Will was able to see from their position in the road had been shuttered by the storm, and others left alone. Giant warehouses were torn asunder, while nearly farmhouses remained undisturbed. This was an angry storm, a wind that was attacking at random, and it showed no signs of letting up. The clothing Will wore was both soaked and frozen. He was cold to the bone by the only but the only thoughts in his head were of his dead son, the trail of blood, and one foot passing before the other over and over again. The gloves Jason had handed him just a few impossible hours before were the only thing allowing him to hold on to the carbon, which for all he knew couldn't function in this sort of weather at all. Will thought of mountain climbers despite Will thought of mountain climbers desperate to reach the summit. When asked why, they simply say because it's there. He'd always thought that answer was a cheat. He'd always thought that answer was a cheat. Sure, the mountain was there, but so was the way around it. Now it occurred to him that walking in the storm to find the man who killed his son, and maybe also the reason for the death in the first place, was the same as saying, because it's there. If X Will would have said that he was walking on be hold up. Will would have said that he was walking on because he loved Alex, had even loved the stupid things that he had always found himself doing. He loved his son for giving him a reason to live, even as an angry and resentful teen, convinced that he was scraping the shit, that he was scraping the shit from another man's child. Alex had become Alex had become so much more than that, though, just as Will's mother had said that the boy would. The family celebrated um Alex's what true triumphs, I don't know, and his miscues, as unfortunate as they were, had almost come has had almost come after Will's parents had passed. Alex had been a gift given by a woman who had no idea of the wonder of the life she was giving away. A life a life no less a no hold up a life no less a wonder because its owner had proven over and over unable to escape the curse of his bloodline, no matter which taint, taint no matter which tainted father might have been his. Jason spoke, and the words shook Will from his feet. Fuji Fugu. I don't know. Fuggle. I don't fucking know. Fugu. I don't know. All right. I mean, we need to. We need to move more slowly. Uh, stay off the road, Jason said, pointing down a path that could have been a uh, six-lane freeway for all Will knew, but still the blood trail was visible in the glow of the few surviving streetlights and occasional bursts of lightning. They went hold up. They went this way. Let's go see. Jason launched himself into the snow beside the road, and Will followed him. Images of Alex smiling and a smudge Chris spitting at Jason alternately rotating in his head. They were walking along a roadway now, keeping to keeping to the tall pines littering both sides of it. The pines but provided dual protection from from what prying eyes and from some of the wind and snow, even in his what thin solate like what thin insulated lined boots. Foot Will's feet had gone from cold to fire to now just two wooden blocks that were attacked somewhere below his knees. Even Jason was slowing. Will hopped it. Will hoped it was the weather wearing him down and not some additional injury that had been hiding in his clothing. If it was an injury, he knew Jason was a lot more likely to just kill, King, kill, what, kill, kill over dead, then complain about it. He also knew that he was in no shape to do what remained on his on his own. Every every few hundred feet of walking in the pines, Jason would loop out so that he could see the road, what the hell is going on with my stomach? Making sure making sure that they hadn't passed the owner of the blood trail and that they hadn't been doubled back on. After doing this for the fourth time, Jason returned, walking toward Will instead of just continuing forward. Looks like they went into a building, he said, and unless I'm going blind, there's nobody posted by the door. Jason managed a grin, his mouth ringed in ice crusted facial hair. the the cut of uh, the cut over his eye caked with snow and fused shut. The place the place has taken a beating, but not like some of the shit we've seen. The blood trail ends before it gets to it. Or at least it looks that way. We'll see when we get closer. Are you ready to do this? Will asks. Not. Blah, blah. Are you ready to do this? Will asks. Not sure if he was ready himself. The snow and the storm had saved them, but it could still be the death of them. about as easily as a warehouse full of gangbangers with tattooed faces could be. I'm ready, said Jason. Is only a little further and then it ends either way. I'm sure would pro- I'm sure would I sure would prefer the winning side though. Hey, at least we should be able to make it inside. Do you think they have heat? Maybe we can dry our boots off before we try and kill each other. I think I think we're lucky just to still be kicking. They got sloppy, should have they got sloppy, should have killed us off at the house, and me being able to take a gun off one of those scary ass motherfuckers, just goes to show that a little more time spent shooting rather than getting their faces all done up might not have been a bad plan. Hey, just in case we don't make it out, thanks for your help. Jason shrugged. Shit, this is the first worthwhile thing I've done in a long time, even if we have had to torture and kill some people. I feel alive and my head is clear for once. I'm not sure. I'm not going to waste your time with some dumb speech, but this almost makes us. But this almost makes up for everything. Did you did you do it once? Once he said it, Once he said it, Will wondered where the fuck it had come from. Now he was bringing up the girl in the B&E 20 years ago, but Jason just nodded thoughtfully thoughtfully at him, and when he answered it was like they were just finishing an it was like they were just finishing an interrupted conversation, like it never left his mind, which it probably hadn't. Will thought. I don't know, Jason said. Isn't that just the most fucked up thing? If you would have asked me the day after the break-in, I'd have said I'd I'd have said no, but then when I got to prison, everybody thought I'd pulled a fast one. My reputation was in place, waiting on waiting on me to get there. I never denied it, but it didn't happen the way everybody thinks it did. That's why I was never charged with it, I guess. Bottom line, I didn't put a gun to her head, but I probably had scared the shit out of her, and she felt like she had to do it. Not like it matters, though. No one would ever believe me, and it's fucked up my life enough that even if they did, there's no fixing what's already happened. Will wasn't sure what to say to Jason about any of that, and Jason grunted and began moving again because he could come up with anything. Will kept his pace, following his mysterious and damaged friend further into further into the trees. They walked next to each other through the pines, the wind whistling and wiping the branches. Whipping the branches. This this torturing sound so that every cracking branch sounded like a gunshot, and everything else eerie and unusual. The two men were moving at a faster pace than they managed since they had left Isaac at the gas station, even through deeper crusted snow. When uh, when they made the edge of the driveway, the warehouse visible to both of them, a few scattered cars in its lot, Will felt almost elated. They left the tree line, Jason running low and Will minim what? Oh, and Jason mimicking him. The snow before them was speckly was speckled with blood again, and Will could see a mess on the door where a great deal of blood had been spilled. He ignored the sickening feeling in his stomach and kept running just behind Jason. They They made the door without seeing any of the MS-13 members, the the storms wrecked would have smothered. I mean, that would would have smothered the approach arm of an armored division their on their heels. Hail the size of golf balls had swept after them from the trees, pumping their backs and the building behind them. The metal near the door was warped in spots as though the building itself had been bent. Jason turned the knob and it shocked them both when it turned over. Jason held his finger over his lips. Shh. Will rolled his eyes like any moment of noise they might make could possibly be heard over the arm Armageddon Armageddon coming down on the world, and followed Jason inside the AR-15 stuck on his shoulder, his right eye looking through the sight and past the ridicule toward possible targets that could appear from anywhere. Oh my god, John. I'm gonna just stop right there, y'all, cause I'm like kind of hurting and like yeah. So I'm gonna start right there, and like I did last time, for the page I'll be reading the next live. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video with any and everybody. Let them know what your girl is doing on this channel. It's your girl, Big Nique TV. Big Mama Nique. Big Mama Nique. Authentic Nique. Goofy Nique. The freak leak. Oh. Anyway, y'all. Thank you guys for the people that stopped by, no matter how long you stayed. I appreciate it so much. Keep the subscribers coming. Keep the likes coming. Keep comments, appropriate comments coming. I see it all. I see it all, baby. I see it all. I see it all, baby. Come join the winning team. Period. And yeah, we're gonna go up together. Y'all gonna see my whole journey. Make sure y'all if y'all ain't see the the previous lives to this reading, make sure y'all go see that. And yeah, y'all, bye. Have a good. And my fingers are blue. Fingers are blue because I was eating them chips. But yeah, bye, y'all.